here. All right, this is Darren Spader again, Bay Area News Group. We're here with Evan Weback, new to our group here on the prediction show, and we've got defending champion Mike Lefkow, who in retirement, Mike, you must sit there and study video because you have won every competition. I think it's 2 or maybe even 3 now that you've won the season championship.
I'm a dynasty.
You are a dynasty.
I'm coming for you, Lefty.
What's that?
I'm coming for you.
Ooh.
Okay.
So anyhow,
I'm waiting.
we're going to pick 14 games. We're going today, but we're going to start off with a couple of storylines going into the 2021 fall season. Obviously, we are just 3 or 4 months removed from a unprecedented spring season. So now we're going into the fall, and obviously the big question is, are things going to be back to normal? Evan, what are you hearing out there? What are we going to be? Is it going to be normal when we go to football games on Friday night?
Yeah, Darren. Well, I think a month ago we thought it was going to be a lot more normal than it's probably actually going to be this fall. Not anything like the spring, I don't think, in terms of just the uncertainty week in and week out, whether they're going to play and who's going to play, or is your game going to get canceled? But I think it's inevitable. As I've talked to coaches, it seems like everybody's realized it's going to be an inevitability this season that players are going to be exposed to COVID in the classroom. There's actually going to be even more exposures, points of exposure for most players because they're going to be in-person learning and going to class rather than doing it over Zoom. And we've already seen that play out with San Ramon Valley, Clayton Valley Charter, seeing some of the top teams in the Bay Area have missed some of their key players in practices leading up to the season. So yeah.
But when we actually have games, it's going to feel more normal than the spring, where we're actually going to see spectators in the stands. I imagine the barbecues are going to be fired up with hamburgers, hot dogs, tri-tip type things. That's going to be more normal than what we saw in the spring, where it was guest passes and very small crowds.
Bring back the concessions, the concession lines, the smells.
Right.
Drum line.
As with any season, Mike, when we go into it, we want to know who's going to be good at the top, who's going to be good in the Bay Area.
Well, I mean, my top 3 would be De La Salle, Serra, and Pittsburgh. I think they're 3 teams that are a step above the rest, and we'll just see how it plays out among the 3 of them.
And like sometimes we see in college football, we are seeing a heavyweight showdown right off the bat. And we'll get a little bit more into it later in the show when we make our predictions. But we've got Serra ranked number 2 in our Bay Area News Group poll that came out this morning, going up against number 3 Pittsburgh, a game we've been waiting for months now since it was announced. Evan, you are going to be at Pirate Stadium on Friday night. What are you most looking forward to about that one?
Man, I'm looking forward to seeing these 2 offensive duos go off and show off what they can do. It's 2 sets of best friends who have grown up together since childhood are finally getting a chance to really show what they can do this fall. And Hassan Mahassan for Serra with Dominique Lampkin at quarterback, and Rashid Williams and Jaden Rashad at Pittsburgh. Both those guys, both sets grew up down the street from each other and are probably the 2 most explosive offensive duos in the Bay Area. And that's going to be really fun to see them go up against each other on Friday night.
Last storyline, I'll let either one of you address it. Can anyone beat De La Salle in the Bay Area or even anywhere north of Fresno? It hasn't happened in 30 years. There's going to be Friday night they get St. Mary's of Stockton, but later on they go to Folsom. Bay Area wise, they're not playing Serra in the regular season this season. Could play Pittsburgh in the NCS championship game, or maybe even an earlier round if something goes, unexpectedly wrong for one of these teams. But anyhow, can anyone beat De La Salle?
I'm going to say yes. I think somebody can beat De La Salle. I know one thing we've talked about is a lot of their more experienced coaches have left in the last few years. they've lost some key people. They're going to miss some key people this year who've graduated. And I have a lot of respect for St. Mary's High in Stockton. We saw what Folsom did to Monterey Trail last week.
56 to
And,
14.
Yeah, and Pitt is a very Pitt and Sarah are very good teams. Who knows if they'll ever meet, but I think I think De La Salle may be more vulnerable this year than they've been in the past 4 or 5 years.
Well, Evan, what do you think? You're new to this is your first fall season. You were around in the
Telling you,
spring.
I've never seen De La Salle at full strength, but I think I agree with Lefty. I think they're vulnerable. I would have loved to see that De La Salle Sarah matchup. I know, Lefty, you almost put Sarah above De La Salle in your top 25 ballot. Is that right?
I was thinking about it. Yeah, I mean, I think I look at that Sarah roster. It's really good, and yeah, all three of those guys, the De La Salle, Sarah, and Pitt, they're all from the Bob Lattiser coaching tree. I mean, they're three superbly coached teams, three superb programs. You know, the streak has got to end someday.
Yep, but I'm going to say De La Salle runs the table, and at least in Northern California. I don't know about the team from Baltimore that they're playing, St. Francis Academy from Baltimore, which is scheduled to come out in early October. I know the Folsom game, obviously, that was a very big eye opener, but De La Salle would get them in October, which in theory they would, if they have any kinks, they will have ironed them out. And I think I can see De La being, at least undefeated within Northern California going into the postseason. So we'll see what happens, but let's get to the predictions, which I'm sure people who are watching this want to know who the heck we're going to pick in some of these games in week one. We call it week one here at the Bay Area News Group. I know a lot of people call week zero. I've always hated that term. I don't know, Lefty, you like week zero or week one?
No, it's week one. I mean, if it was week zero, they wouldn't be playing.
They wouldn't be playing. It's the most stupid thing
it's ridiculous.
It's, week zero. Give me a break. It's week one. Week one of the high school football season in the Bay Area. We are going to start it off with our predictions. Valley Christian at Wilcox. We've been hearing things at Valley. I've talked to Mike Machado. Numbers are down. We understand. We haven't confirmed this with Mike Machado, but we've heard that they are not going to have a JV team this fall, which means more numbers on the varsity because their numbers were like at 30. And I don't remember Valley ever being at 30 on the varsity. So if they did, in fact, cut their JV program for this season, my guess is they would probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of 45 or 50 on varsity, but they're going to Wilcox, and Wilcox obviously has had a great run under Paul Rosa. They beat Valley a couple of years ago. Who are you guys taking?
I'm going to take Wilcox. I think it'll be a close game, but I think Wilcox wins.
I'm taking Wilcox too. Valley's got the best player on the field with Jerry and Dickey, but I think Wilcox pulls this out at home.
We're all taking Wilcox. I'm taking Wilcox.
One question: Does Valley have a fry soft team?
Oh, it's a freshman team, and I'm sure they'll have that. They'll have a freshman team. Might call it frost off. Then again, I think we've reached out to Valley, so we'll find out a little bit more about what's going on out there. But anyhow, we know that we were out there on day one of fall practice, and we talked to Mike Machado, and we know the numbers, at least at the varsity at that time, were way down, and the JV was only looking at like around 20. So 30 on varsity, 20 on JV. It makes sense if that's indeed what happened. So yeah, we are all taking Wilcox. Sorry, Valley, which last year ended up number 4 in our rankings. They're debuting at number 6 today, but we're all taking Wilcox. Next game on the list, Heritage at Dublin. Devin Rivers for Heritage, the big running back, season opener. I'm taking Heritage.
Give me Heritage.
I'm taking Heritage.
St. Francis at Central Catholic. Camilo Arquette for St. Francis. I saw him at the end of last season. He was Mr. Do Everything against Bellarmine that night. Greg Calcagno, the coach, told me that that is what he's been doing since he's been there at St. Francis. Bellarmine went out there to play a season opener last year and built that big lead and lost by a touchdown. I think St. Francis wins this game, even though Central Catholic's 1-0.
I think St. Francis wins, but I think it's going to be a close game, 1-score game.
Ooh, you're going to be there.
I'm going to be there.
This is a good St. Francis team. They're definitely better than Bellarmine last year. So I'm taking St. Francis.
California, James Logan. That's at James Logan. Both teams are in our top 25. Teddy is it Boris? How do you pronounce the last? Boris. Okay. And Jake Calcagno, his buddy, the wide receiver, son of the coach. Both teams should be good. I'm taking California.
Yeah, only one slot separates them in our rankings, 15 and 16.
Dang.
James Logan's got that huge quarterback, Marcus Sanders. But I saw Cal up front in person. There's so much energy at those practices, and they run their offense with the same pace. Don't no huddle. I'm going to go Cal.
I'm going to take James Logan. This game is down there, and I like that Marcus Sanders, the James Logan quarterback.
It's in Union City, correct. Next one, Menlo Atherton against Bellarmine. It's a Bellarmine home game, but Bellarmine's back playing home games at San Jose City College this Friday night. Jalal Beachman, his second season at Bellarmine. Chris Saunders, his second season as coach at Menlo Atherton. Menlo Atherton has Matt McLeod back. Menlo Atherton has Jalen Moss back, a wide receiver. They have so much talent. Bellarmine's running that spread offense now. They're going to have to score a lot of points to keep pace with MA. I am taking MA in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take MA, and I think by a fairly wide margin. I know I was talking to McClymonds coach Michael Peters. He was very impressed with that team.
Yep. Moss and McLeod, nobody combined for more receiving yards than CCS last.
Bishop
Yeah.
O'Dowd Liberty. That's a good matchup, Lefty, for week one.
It is a good matchup, and
Both teams 4-1 in the spring.
I had Bishop O'Dowd ranked higher in the poll, but I think Liberty wins a real close defensive battle.
Evan?
I love what David Perry is doing at Bishop O'Dowd, and I think he's going to take it on the road and get a win. That's a tough game at Liberty.
You're taking O'Dowd?
Give me O'Dowd.
Wow. I'm taking Liberty. I'm with you, Lefty. St.
It's
Ignatius.
close.
Yeah, it's going to be close. St. Ignatius Palo Alto. What do you guys think? I mean, St. Ignatius had a couple of good years in a row. They went into their last game in the spring with a chance to claim another share of a WCAL championship. Sarah handed it to them in the spring. In the fall 2019 season, it was the other way around with SI beating Sarah to force a three-way tie for the WCAL championship. I think SI is going to be decent. Pally under Nelson Gifford, we know they're going to be well coached. I don't know what what kind of numbers they have, but I'm taking SI.
Yeah, I'm going to go with SI too. I think Pally's rebuilding a little bit this year.
I'll take SI too.
This is an interesting game. Vintage at San Ramon Valley. Evan, you've been out there at San Ramon Valley. You like that team.
I like that team a lot. They were my fourth ranked team in my poll.
Right, and they finished number 4 in our rankings. So we all liked San Ramon Valley. I'm taking them to beat Vintage, but I don't think this is going to be an easy game at all.
No,
I'm
I
gonna-
don't.
Go ahead.
It's not going to be easy. And like I had noted earlier, they were missing some key players last week. But I think they're going to be ready to go, and I'll still pick them over Vintage.
I'm going to take SRV, and I think it might not be as close as you guys think.
Wow. So we're all going SRV though.
Right.
Okay. This next one is a really interesting matchup, given that these teams have great tradition, Monta Vista and Antioch, but last spring they combined for 1 win. Antioch went 1-4, Monta Vista 0-6. Monte Vista has a new coach. Evan, why don't you tell us a little bit about CJ Anderson?
Yeah, do you recognize the name? The
You
man
gonna suit
was.
up?
I bet they wish after 0-6 season. But CJ's confident in his squad. He's playing it tight to the vest. But there's a lot of talent over there between Dylan Devitt coming back at quarterback and Jack Andrews at tight end. We should see them put up some yards. But yeah, CJ, he's bringing some NFL experience with him. He spent the weekend before practice opened in Canton at Peyton Manning's Hall of Fame induction, and apparently ran into Kyle Shanahan and got a little coaching advice.
There you go. I'm taking Monte Vista in this one.
I'm going to go with Antioch. I think Antioch might be a little bit underrated this year.
I think Antioch's underrated too, and maybe CJ's getting his coaching legs under him. So I'll take Antioch.
You're taking Antioch. All right. The Kings Academy against Mountain View. I was out at Mountain View on Friday night. You can read about it in our debut column that we posted on Monday called Monday Morning Lights. Mountain View will be under the lights on Friday night for the first time with a full house. They're expecting a lot of students to come out, a lot of parents. Last year with the COVID restrictions, it was only close family members for the players who could go out and watch their games. So big night at Mountain View, but they're going up against Pete Laverado and the fly sweep at the Kings Academy. I'm taking Kings in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on the TKA bandwagon in this game, but another real close one.
Yep. No Short's tough to replace, but give me the system. TKA.
TKA, okay. Sacred Heart Cathedral against Sacred Heart Prep. That's a Saturday afternoon game in Atherton. Sacred Heart Cathedral has a nice running back, Jerry Mixon, and Andrew Latu from Sacred Heart Prep. I'm going Prep, not Cathedral. I'm going Prep.
I'm going to go Sacred Heart Cathedral.
I was the only one not to drop Sacred Heart Prep from our rankings from last spring. I think I'm gonna go with Cathedral too and Mixon at running back.
You're going Cathedral, okay. Castro Valley at Foothill. Foothill went 4-1 in the spring. Castro Valley 2-3. Nick Walsh at quarterback for Foothill. I'm going Castro Valley. That's the one I circled. I was second guessing myself there, looking at my notes, but I'm gonna stick with my pick and go Castro Valley.
I finally decided to go Foothill. I think Castro Valley is an up and coming team, but I think Foothill's a little bit better this year.
Yeah, turnout has been tough for a lot of teams around the Bay Area, but Denny Molson says his numbers are up at Castro Valley. That said, I think I got to go Foothill.
Are you guys ready for our big two? The last two picks of the first show? Ready to get it done?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to be in Stockton on Friday night to see St. Mary's of Stockton against De La Salle. Evan, you covered these teams in the spring opener. Tell me a little bit about the wide receiver at St. Mary's.
Yeah, well, let's ask Justin Allenbaugh. We got to stop number 2. Jaden Marshall of St. Mary's absolutely killed him in the spring, and Allenbaugh he takes it to heart that St. Mary's has given them a game the last 2 years. St. Mary's led at halftime last year, and De La Salle only won by 8 points, 35-27. And
Yep.
A lot of that was because of Jaden Marshall. He's a track star. He's committed to UCLA. He's going to be it's either going to be him or Zeke Berry as the fastest man on the field in that game. And it very well may be Jaden Marshall. But he's going to be a lot of trouble for Berry and Brian Meredith at cornerback.
And De La Salle has a new quarterback,
Luke Derman.
Luke Derman taking over for Dorian Hale, who was there seemingly forever. How big of a test do you think this will be for Luke Durham playing on the road in a season opener, Lefty?
I think it's going to be a big test. I think the St. Mary's team I've seen them each of the last couple of years. I mean, they're well coached. That kid Marshall is a terrific player. I mean, I've seen him since he was a sophomore, and he's a really good player. They're not going to be intimidated by De La Salle. They play a tough schedule every year. I think this is going to be one heck of a game.
And they only played them 4 months ago. So a lot of these guys, it's not like they've waited a year for this rematch, and they're getting them at home.
Right.
That being said, I'm taking De La Salle.
Yeah, I'm going to take De La Salle, but I think this one it could be a nail biter.
I'm taking De La Salle, but I think the NorCal streak ends this year.
Okay. Is it going to be by more than 8?
I think it's a 2-score game.
Okay.
I got it as a 1-score game.
I'll say at least 10. So last game on the list. Evan, you'll be there. Pirate Stadium, as we discussed a little earlier. Sarah at Pittsburgh. Man, you talk about an opener. Mahasan, Rashada, Walsh, Galley, big crowd. Assume the Pittsburgh band's going to be there. Get there early, Evan. Watch the Pittsburgh band, which is always phenomenal. I had a hard time.
Evan, they have Tri-Tip and New Mecca Cafe concessions there, or they have in the past.
I made my New Mecca debut last Friday when I was out at Pitt for that scrimmage against.
They have Tri-Tip there too.
Oh yeah. No analysis of the New Mecca in our Monday morning lights, but a little bit of analysis from the scrimmage.
There you go. So break this down for me, Lefty. What do you think? You mentioned earlier, Sarah's just loaded with talent. Can Pittsburgh beat them?
I think this is a game everybody would want to see. I mean, you have probably 10, 12 Division I football players on the field between the two teams, maybe more than that. They're both tremendous teams. They both have great quarterbacks. They have great skill players. They have tough linemen. I know in doing the BVL preview, Vic Galley told me the only weakness on his team might be the secondary, and they could have 2 freshmen in the secondary. So it's a young secondary. Doesn't mean it's not talented. And Sarah, who knows? This could be the best Sarah team of all time. I mean, you look at the personnel there, it is really good.
And that's what I couldn't get past, is that this Sarah team, you just wish they were playing De La Salle this season, because you're just like, man, just looking at that roster, those numbers, the size of those linemen, I couldn't pick against them. I'm taking Sarah in this game.
Yeah, Sarah is deep and talented. I think Pitt is talented and a little bit less deep. I gotta go. I'm going Sarah in this game, and I can't wait to report back for you. Should be a good one.
I'm going to take Pitt. I'm going to take the team that's at home. I think it's going to be very close to go either way, but I'm going to stick with the home team.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to read about it. And I can't wait to read your story, Lefty, from Modesto, and the other games that we'll be covering on Friday night and the roundup. Make sure your coaches get back to us so we can get stuff in our roundup for Saturday, which will be a big hit if the spring were any indication. We'll have game coverage, scoreboards, Friday night stars on Friday night, Saturday morning. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter. Go to mercurynews.com or eastbaytimes.com. Look for the where can you find our league previews and the position, all area position lists, which, I mean, a lot of great content. Guys, you have anything else to add before we sign off on week 1 prediction show?
mercurynews.com. We need your subscriptions.
There you go. Lefty.
What Evan said stand for me.
Terrific. Well, we're going to try to wrap this up here as I go over here to shut her down.